The disabled tyrant's beloved pet fish. Transmigration. Chapter 41. Jingwang waited beside the pond for quite a while, but he still didn't see the fun-loving fish return. He suddenly realized that to give this kind of gift was somewhat foolish. Would the carpio indulge in the fun and forget to return home? Would the carpio decide to just live inside the pond instead of staying by his side? After all, in the fish's eyes, he couldn't even compete with food. Therefore, he must be nothing compared to a new fish tank, right? Deliberating for a while, Jingwang decided to go into the water personally to take a look at this heartless carpio. Yet just at this time, a ripple of water appeared on the water's surface. A fish head appeared in the middle of it. The little carp hurriedly swam over. Looks like this fish wasn't so heartless after all. Jingwang stopped being angry. The little carp happily swam around in circles beneath his feet. With a smile, Jingwang bent down and rubbed its back. The little carp suddenly curled into a circle and rolled completely into his hand. What's going on? Jingwang scooped the fish up and quickly examined it all over, afraid that the fish pond was built too fast and there were delicate areas which were not properly constructed that had scratched the fish. However, the fish looked very well, lively like a dragon and vigorous as a tiger, no injuries at all. Jingwang thought for a moment and first placed the fish back into the crystal bottle. The carpio was very well behaved, without any signs of disdain for the small crystal bottle despite coming out of the huge luxurious fish tank. Jingwang then brought the fish back to his room and placed it inside the fish tank in the room. The carpio didn't struggle either. Jingwang felt like this meant the carpio still wanted to live together with him. The tiny bit of discontent just now completely changed into delight. Although the fish-formed carpio couldn't speak and couldn't express his thanks, Jingwang didn't do any of this for the carpio's gratitude. If the other was willing to stay by his side, that was enough. Xiao, you must be tired after this long day. Jingwang figured it would be sleeping soon. However, when he placed the fish back in the tank, Xiao Yu continued to stick to the wall of the fish tank, staring at him or swimming after him wherever he went. Go to sleep. Jingwang lightly tapped the fish on the head. The well-behaved fish, however, clung to his hand, refusing to let go. Jingwang could understand the carpio most of the time, but there were times like this when he didn't know what it wanted. After a while, the fish let go by itself and laid on the white stone bed. Jingwang was also quite tired and went over to lay down on his own bed. Not long afterwards, he went to sleep. On the white stone bed, the little carp was feigning sleep and had been listening to Jingwang's breathing this entire time. As soon as Jingwang fell asleep, it jumped up and swam over. Although Jingwang gave fish a super enormous fish tank, the teacup set up in the room still remained. Jumping and hopping, Li Yu took his usual path and arrived in front of Jingwang's bed. Today, there was a red-colored lotus cup next to the pillow. The little carp carefully jumped into it. He didn't know how he could express his feelings of gratitude. The tyrant master really treated this fish too well. Not only did he help fish get revenge, he also made an enormous fish tank for fish. Yet, fish couldn't do anything for its master. Li Yu silently looked at his master's quiet sleeping face. After looking for a while, fish instincts took over. He really wanted to nuzzle. However, he knew that if he jumped over directly, he would just cover Jingwang with a face full of water. What should he do? It's best to do it like cats and dogs. The little carp pursed its little fish mouth. He only needed to nuzzle his master's face a little and that would be enough. It's not like he never did it before anyways. Jingwang was currently sleeping on his back. Li Yu picked the most handsome part of Jingwang's profile and went to kiss it. Jingwang suddenly moved. Li Yu immediately dodged. Jingwang flipped over, turning on his side. That most handsome part was pressed down into the pillow. The little carp who lost its target. Liu gave a devious smile. Since it's blocked, then he could only kiss his nose. The little carp opened its mouth and viciously waved its fins twice. However, he was all bark and no bite. In the end, he only intimately rubbed against Jingwang's nose and pressed the tip of his nose for a moment. He's done it. Liu was so happy as if he had eaten several pieces of peach blossom cookies. This nose-rubbing action was actually a very large deal, harder than nuzzling against the face. Liu leaned over on the jade pillow and needed to stretch his fish body to the best of his abilities to reach his master's nose. One mistake and he would fall over. He was confident that he was careful enough. However, this fish's fin was slippery and so was the jade pillow. He wasn't sure he could hold onto it for a long time. Liu had just finished rubbing his master's nose when his fish fin slipped. The whole of his fish body uncontrollably fell towards Jingwang's face. Ah. A good thing was about to become a tragedy. Liu couldn't even withdraw. In panic, he used all the strength on his tail to steady himself. When he was only about an inch away from Jingwang's face, his fish body suddenly stopped. It's more accurate to say that his fish tail stood up, like a stable base, and held up his fish body. The little carp curiously looked at its tail. It actually turned hard like iron in such a crucial moment. This should be because of the newly changed fish scales. The strength of the new scales were apparently very strong. He never had an opportunity to try it before. Who would have thought that he could use his tail to support his entire body? Saved. Liu was just about to jump back to the fish tank. However, the sleeping Jingwang, who was only an inch from him, suddenly moved again and chased him. Liu didn't perceive any danger yet, a hot and soft thing already pressed against his slippery gray fish body. Liu. He was very certain he didn't fall on Jingwang. But Jingwang's lips were touching his fish's body. If the man didn't have his eyes closed, the scalding hot lips really felt like they were kissing fish's stomach, fish's fins, and Liu's iron-hard tail felt like it was burned and immediately went limp. The entire fish swayed for a moment before he started to shakily escape out of the bed. Fish was too flustered. Along the way, he didn't see clearly the placement of the teacup and unprecedentedly, failed to jump in it. Instead, he landed on the floor nearby. The little carp desperately flailed for a while before flopping back in. Liu dove headfirst into his water grass blanket, entire fish almost smoking. Calm down. Master was only sleeping. There's no special meaning. The little carp told himself non-stop. Meanwhile, the person on the bed had been listening into the fish's movements this entire time. When the carp finally entered the fish tank and he couldn't hear any more sounds from it, Jingwang raised his hand and touched the corner of his lip. Why would this fish refuse the absorb essence properly? Actually, he woke up immediately as soon as Xiaoyu jumped onto the bed. After waiting for so long, he became somewhat impatient and had no choice but to take the initiative himself. How disappointing. He escaped. Jingwang recalled the feeling that the fish's body left him and slowly grinned. The next morning, the fish and the man, who each had their own ulterior motives, woke up both feeling somewhat guilty. For some reason, the fish was still a soft little carp and couldn't find an opportunity to transform into human. Meanwhile, the Jing estate welcomed some uninvited guests. The heir of Chang'an Palace had been thinking about the new fish tank inside the Jing estate for a long time. After learning that the fish tank was finished, Ye Shizi immediately came over as the first one to get involved and see the result. As soon as the sun rose, he came over, bringing Xiongfeng on a leash. When he entered the estate, he was immediately dumbstruck by the huge fish pond inside. Before, Ye Qinghuan had assumed from the construction around the Jing estate that Jingwang was just digging a few ponds for reserve. But this was really beyond his imagination. Who would have thought Jingwang reconstructed his entire estate into a pond for the sake of a fish? Although Yeshizi felt odd, he also felt Jingwang might have gone a bit overboard. Because Ye Qinghuan was going to converse privately with Jingwang, he released Xiongfeng's leash. Xiongfeng have never seen such a huge pond before. It followed along the edge and dashed wildly, catching sight of the little carp playing inside the pond. Liu also noticed Xiongfeng. Remembering that after he switched scales, he hasn't seen Xiongfeng again. He was afraid that Xiongfeng wouldn't recognize him. However, Xiongfeng didn't bark randomly at him, and just like before, it reached out its nose, wanting to poke fish. Liu remembered that his fish scales were extremely powerful now and suppressed his fear. Popping his head out of the surface of the water, he let Xiongfeng poke him lightly. Xiongfeng who finally managed to poke the fish. Excitedly wagging its tail, Xiongfeng ran a big circle around the pond. Dogs use smell to recognize things. Of course, it recognized its little carp friend. However, running up and down on land wasn't entertaining enough. With a plop, Xiongfeng jumped into the water and dog paddled to the fish's side. Liu splashed a face full of water at it. Coming down to swim is fine, but don't knock over the house that master built for me. Good thing Xiongfeng was very obedient and really only played together with the fish, not heading deeper into the water. Xiongfeng wanted to have a swimming race with the fish, but the little carp clearly swam faster than it. Xiongfeng got left behind very quickly. Yeshizi and Jingwang both saw this scene. Yeshizi clicked his tongue several times. Jingwang's complexion was somewhat dark. He felt that Yeshizi's dog was really an eyesore. He was just planning to have Wang Shi drag Ye Qinghuan and his dog out. The completely oblivious Ye Qinghuan nudged Jingwang's arm teasingly. His eyes were also sparkling as he stared at the water in the pond. Building a pond this big, aren't you afraid you won't be able to find it anymore? Jingwang was startled. Ye Qinghuan asked this out of nowhere, without any warning. It took a while for Jingwang to figure out what Yeshizi was asking, but once he did, his lips immediately curved upwards. Perhaps he was worried before, but now he knew that Xiaoyu definitely wouldn't do that. The fish and dog were just playing happily inside the pond when Jingwang walked over. The fish, who originally went off who knows where, immediately appeared and swiftly swam to Jingwang's feet and enthusiastically waved its tail at its master. Talk about flattery. Yeshizi. Ye Qinghuan refused to accept this. He also walked over with anticipation towards Xiongfeng. However, his family's dog was too busy looking at the surface of the water like it was a mirror and completely ignored him. Yeshizi. Enough was enough. If this continued, he was going to lose his underpants. Yeshizi, who visited to look at the new fish tank and ended up being flaunted at, angrily left with Xiongfeng on its leash. Ye Qinghuan had just left when the third prince, Mu Tianming, arrived. Although Mu Tianming intended to win over Jingwang's support, he didn't really come to Jing estate that much. Jingwang also treated his guests very coldly. The second to the last time Mu Tianming entered Jing estate was because the emperor had ordered Jingwang to hold a banquet. Then the very last time, it was to drop the spy, Chu Yanyu, to Jingwang. However, because he was afraid Jingwang would refuse, he didn't even dare to enter the door. With this visit today, Mu Tianming still had ulterior motive. The fish Jingwang raised. Before Mu Tianming only looked at it as if it were entertainment. Who would have thought this fish would grow gold scales? The emperor personally called it an auspicious sign, and this attracted the third prince's attention. Furthermore, the third prince was able to successfully drove concubine Qi out of the picture mainly because of this fish's contribution. Mu Tianming was willing to believe that the appearance of this fish was a kind of lucky omen. Mu Tianming, who urgently wished to become the crown prince, naturally wanted to make this auspicious sign his own and use this as a method to gain favor from the emperor. Now that his biggest opponent, the second prince, was gone and the sixth prince was on his side and would not be against him, he was confident that the position of the emperor would become his sooner or later. The current situation was different from before. Jingwang and the Chang'an Palace's support was no longer important in Mu Tianming's opinion. On the contrary, Mu Tianming was starting to get wary of Jingwang. He also gained the desire to take the fish. However, he wouldn't openly come to Jing estate and do things that could be held against him. Instead, he decided to first try diplomacy before using force. It was only a fish. Jingwang shouldn't refuse him front of his face, right? Receiving Jingwang's orders, Wang Shi invited the third prince into Ninghui Hall where guests were received in the Jing estate. Mu Tianming brought plenty of attendants. These attendants carried boxes and baskets which were all placed inside Ninghui Hall. With Mu Tianming's order, they were all opened to reveal that all of them were filled with gold and silver. Li Yu had an enormous fish tank now but still liked to be carried around by Jingwang inside the crystal bottle. Hearing that the third prince had arrived, how could Li Yu miss this opportunity to watch the drama? He already jumped on top of the crystal bottle ahead of time and waved his head and tail. Therefore, Jingwang deemed to satisfy the fish's wishes. It's not like the third prince would dare to do anything inside the Jing estate anyways. However, when the third prince threw open all of these boxes of gold and silver, the impressionable little carp immediately sank to the bottom like a rock. Li Yu swears he have never seen so much gold and silver in his life. What was the third prince planning to do? Mu Tianming went straight to the point and said, "Fifth younger brother, I came to do a trade with you. Your fish is not bad. I really like it. Is it possible for you to part with it?" Mu Tianming smiled and gestured at the boxes and baskets on the floor. "If these gold and silver are not enough, I can add more. I'll add more to it until you're satisfied. How's that sound?" Li Yu. Damn. Mu Tianming wanted to buy him from his tyrant master? No, please don't. Ah. Li Yu prayed relentlessly in his heart. Although he liked gold and silver, he wouldn't sell himself out. Jingwang treated him very well, he also didn't want to leave Jingwang even more. The little carp immediately looked pitifully at Jingwang for his reaction. A vein bulged on Jingwang's forehead. Li Yu knew that this was a sign that the tyrant was about to get angry. After feeling nervous for a moment, the little carp immediately relaxed. Time to watch how his master will reject this shameless third prince. To be honest, the third prince didn't even look at him properly before. How come he was suddenly eagerly attempting to buy him? It's definitely because the emperor said he was an auspicious sign. That's why the third prince wanted to raise him. The little carp hated people who acted ulterior motive the most. After the third prince voiced his request, Jingwang glanced at Wang Shi with a cold face. Wang Shi didn't care about the third prince or the second prince or any of the other princes really. He only cared about his own prince, Jingwang. Jingwang wasn't happy, so Wang Shi immediately said loudly, "The third prince shouldn't waste effort. His Highness Jingwang definitely won't ever sell his fish." Mu Tianming was stunned. "Does fifth younger brother think the price I offered was too low? How about 10,000 gold and 100,000 silver?" In actuality, Mu Tianming felt somewhat hesitant to offer this much. It's just a fish. Even if it was an auspicious sign, that was too expensive. However, if it can help him obtain the title of crown prince as soon as possible, the price was worth it. Li Yu. Li Yu never thought that he would be worth such a price. Although he disliked the third prince, he couldn't resist wiggling his fish body, very pleased with himself. If looks could kill, the third prince probably would have already died a few thousand times. Wang Shi glanced at Jingwang's darkened face and said, "It's not a matter of price. This fish is His Highness's most precious treasure. Even if your honorable self bring 1,000,000 gold and 10 million silver, His Highness still won't sell it." Li Yu. Li Yu was super touched. So, in the tyrant master's eyes, even 1,000,000 gold was not even enough to exchange for him. The little carp instantly understood the deep meaning behind the "be a favored pet" mission. Jingwang definitely wouldn't give face to someone who attempted to dig his corner. He ordered Wang Shi to throw out the third prince along with his baskets and boxes of gold and silver. Mu Tianming never imagined that Jingwang would treat him like this and left with a malicious expression on his face. The annoying third prince finally left. Li Yu happily wagged his tail towards his master, wanting Jingwang to put him back inside the big pond to play. However, Jingwang deliberately turned his head to the other side, not looking at him. Li Yu. The little carp didn't know what his master was silently fuming about or why his master was suddenly annoyed with him. He can only flatteringly wag his tail some more. Jingwang originally planned to remain stone-hearted for once, but the little carp was too good at playing cute. Jingwang finally couldn't resist grabbing this flattering fish over and stroked the fish until it trembled non-stop. The way this carp Yao actually forgot to swim upon seeing the third prince's gold and silver was really too outrageous. In his anger, Jingwang ordered the artisans to make the white stone bed that the little carp usually slept on into a polished round, silver stone. The water grass blanket was also changed into a water grass handkerchief weaved with gold silk. Li Yu, who suddenly discovered that his bed and blanket had become shiny gold overnight. "Oh, master! Fish really loves you to death." The carp Yao cheered internally, hugging the blankets and refusing to let go as it rolled around back and forth on the bed. End chapter. The disabled tyrant's beloved pet fish. Transmigration. Chapter 42. Just as Li Yu deeply experienced the treatment of being a most favored pet and was rolling around covered by a water grass blanket made of gold silk, the system, which had been giving him a vacation all this time, finally made a sound. "Congratulations, host. The adjustment for the main mission has been finalized. Host can now activate the next main mission. Li Yu, I can finally start the next one." He was never worried about this mission adjustment because Tyrant Master treated him very well, so he was confident that he could advance to the next mission. Although he accepted the Become a Koi side quest, he hadn't make any progress on it because the hint he was given was too unfathomable, and thus he was setting it aside for the meanwhile. After not doing the main mission for such a long time, he somewhat missed it. Li Yu immediately entered the system to check it out. As the system said, the new main mission can be clicked on now. It's called The Tyrant Raises Fish to Revitalize Bloodline. Li Yu was speechless. The title of this mission was really weird, though he had a faint impression of seeing it when he first entered the system. Didn't the system said that an adjustment would be made to determine the direction of the main mission? It didn't look very different from before. Li Yu clicked open the Revitalize Bloodline main mission. This main mission was set up similarly to the Tyrant's Guppy Pet Fish mission. It was also divided into several steps. The summary said, for the sake of making the lives of the Tyrant and his pet fish better and better. The main mission's first step was: experience the wind, flowers, snow, and moon with the Tyrant. Li Yu. Wait. Why did he feel like after the vacation, this shitty system became even more ridiculous? Who can tell him what does the revitalization of a bloodline has anything to do with wind, flowers, snow, and moon? Moreover, he remembered that wind, flowers, snow, and moon meant a romantic moment which involved indulging in drinks and having pleasure. Did this step require him to drink together with the Tyrant? Li Yu had the green plum wine before. He knew that he got drunk easily. Once he got drunk, he might lose all inhibitions and do something that fish might regret afterwards. He couldn't help but think a mission that required him to drink was a scam to screw him over again. Li Yu, do I really have to do this main mission? System, fish bones or fish dust? Host, can pick which one. Li Yu. Forget it. He didn't want to pick either. Might as well behave and do his mission. In order to motivate himself, Li Yu first looked at the reward for completing this step. However, the reward wasn't actually enhancing any of his attributes or skills. Instead, it was something very mysterious: learn one of the Tyrant's secrets. Li Yu was discontent with it right away. He didn't really want to know any of Jing Wang's secrets since those secrets belonged to Jing Wang. Moreover, he was a transmigrated fish. He had already read all the important setting of this novel. This reward was of little value to him. Unresigned, Li Yu asked, "Don't you have the fish pillow from last time? It's fine even if he got another fish pillow. Right now, he's been changing form a lot. Leaving the fish tank empty was not good. He really wanted a fish pillow again. The previous fish pillow was still in Jing Wang's hands and he hadn't returned it to him yet. Also, the old already looked different from his current size and color. The shitty system probably never encountered any hosts that actively requested rewards before." After remaining silent for a moment, the system said, "In accordance to the host's suggestion, the reward for the Tyrant raises fish to revitalize bloodline has been updated. Please check it out." Li Yu perked up. So the system could make changes according to his request. He went to look at the wind, flowers, snow, and moon quest again. Sure enough, a fish pillow was added to the reward. This change made him really happy. Li Yu immediately let his imagination run wild and asked, "Since the reward can be changed, can you change this wind, flowers, snow, and moon quest a little, too?" How was a fish supposed to have a romantic moment with the Tyrant Master? The difficulty level was too high. This time, the system remained quiet even after Li Yu waited for a long while. Li Yu thought, "Fine, I've seen through you, shitty system. You can change anything except the fact that screws fish over, right?" Li Yu was kicked out of the system. While he was wrapped in his gold silk seagrass quilt, Li Yu thought, how can he and Jing Wang experience the wind, flowers, snow, and moon together? If they had to drink liquor, then he must get liquor first. Over here, the little carp was frustrating over where to find liquor in order to do his mission. Meanwhile, outside seemed to have exploded like water being thrown into a pot of boiling oil. In the darkness of the night, a few thieves came into the Jing estate. They sneakily jumped over the wall of the estate and were immediately captured by Wang Gonggong, who was leading a huge group of guards. Ever since the fish pond was built, the guards inside the Jing estate became more rigorous. The third prince was unable to buy the fish and left with a displeased face. Wang Shi immediately kept that in mind and warned the patrolling guards to increase their vigilance. Who would have expected that thieves would really appear? Wang Shi swiftly reported it to Jing Wang. Jing Wang gave a glance at the fish inside the fish tank, who lost consciousness once more. Before, whenever this happened, he would think that fish was sick. Now, it seemed like the carpio was most probably meditating. Jing Wang thought that there was no need to let Xiao Yu know about this so fish wouldn't get distracted from what he was doing. Jing Wang planned to do his best to protect Xiao Yu anyways. These thieves were trussed up and carried before Jing Wang, all refusing to say who sent them. The guards searched the thieves and found several fish nets. Their objective was self-explanatory. However, the thieves weren't even aware that the fish they were ordered to capture didn't actually sleep inside the fish pond. How much Wang Shi liked Master Xiao Yu was how much he hated these thieves. He gnashed his teeth and said, "It must be the third prince. Since he couldn't buy the fish, now he wants to steal." The thieves refused to confess. Just finding the fish nets wasn't enough to prove it was the third prince. Wang Shi proposed interrogation by torture. Jing Wang pondered for a moment and gave a warning gaze at Wang Shi. Wang Shi was immediately enlightened and ordered the guards to take the thieves to the Imperial Justice Department for a thorough interrogation. Since Jing Estate had been attacked by thieves, they should report the case to the Imperial Justice Department. Leaving the investigation to the Justice Department was the right and proper way of doing things. If Jing Estate did it themselves, someone might take the opportunity to use it against them. Naturally, after the thieves were sent over to the Justice Department, how they were going to be interrogated, well, it can't be helped if Jing Estate offered some suitable methods to help loosen these thieves' mouths quickly. The third prince's estate. Mu Tianxiao knew about how Mu Tianming was going over to Jing Estate to buy the fish. Mu Tianxiao didn't actually approve of this shortcut route. Rather than trying to think of ways to make the emperor happy, it's better to just honestly do the assignments that the emperor had given. However, even though Mu Tianming trusted him, the other didn't listen to him on every matter. The person making the decision in the end was still Mu Tianming himself. There's nothing Mu Tianxiao could do about it. Especially when he learned that Mu Tianming failed to buy the fish and then ordered people to steal the fish. As if that wasn't bad enough, the stealing of the fish was also unsuccessful. The thieves that the third prince sent all got captured as soon as they entered the Jing estate. Mu Tianxiao felt extremely speechless. For a fish that the emperor might forget the next day, was all of this necessary? Of course it's necessary. Mu Tianming already dug himself into a hole. Ever since Jing Wang rudely kicked him out of the estate, the relationship between the two of them became no longer just the issue with the fish. The third prince felt like Jing Wang didn't know what's good for him and was just asking for trouble. He clearly knew that the third prince was not far from obtaining the position of crown prince, yet he still insisted on having enmity with him. Elder brother, it's better to not send any more people. What if Jing Wang figures it out? Mu Tianxiao painstakingly advised, however the third prince refused to listen. What are you afraid of? My people have tight mouths. They wouldn't talk. Even if Jing Wang guessed it was me, what could he do? If he dares to deal with my people, I will make the imperial censorate accuse him of abusing his power and torturing people. Let's see if he can still keep the title of Wang like this. Mu Tianxiao. Mu Tianxiao rubbed his forehead in frustration. Regardless, Jing Wang already captured those people. Ultimately, it's not good. The plan to steal the fish should stop here. Mu Tianming clearly wasn't willing to give up yet. Are we supposed to let a Mu to surpass you and me and possess an auspicious sign in his hands? Of course not. Mu Tianxiao smiled and gave him a knowing look as he said, since it's an auspicious sign, in accordance to Imperial Father's temperament, he will definitely ask the astronomy department for divination. The astronomy department. The light in Mu Tianming's eyes flickered. This was indeed a way to get rid of Jing Wang. But the auspicious sign was something that Imperial Father mentioned himself. Even the astronomy department might not dare to refute it. Why refute it? The warm expression on Mu Tianxiao's face didn't change. He asked back with a faint smile, have you forgotten the logic of too much is just as bad as not enough? Mu Tianming was stunned for a second. Then he understood the sixth prince's meaning and also started to laugh wildly. The sixth prince's presumptions weren't wrong. The emperor soon summoned officials from the astronomy department. Therefore, the third prince followed the sixth prince's advice and enacted his plans. The astronomy department didn't have a lot of members, but it had the power to settle important matters with just one word. Within such an important department, naturally Jing Wang also have his own people inside it. Jing Wang brought fish to see the emperor before for his own personal reasons. Xiao Yu's change was quite noticeable by now. Who knows if he would have further changes in the future. Sooner or later, the emperor would hear about it. Jing Wang wanted to prepare the emperor ahead of time, find a good reason why for Xiao Yu and hide the fact that Xiao Yu was a Yao. If this wasn't successful on the emperor's side, he already made plans to have the astronomy department make an announcement. However, since the emperor believed that the fish gaining gold scales was an auspicious sign on his own, it saved Jing Wang a lot of work. Jing Wang also anticipated that the emperor would still go find the astronomy department for divination. He ordered his people in the astronomy department to follow along appropriately. Not long afterwards the third prince enacted his plans, which Jing Wang immediately received the news of. Mu Tianming was so sinister, he wanted the astronomy department to tell the emperor that for a fish to grow gold scales, it was a sign that it was going to transform into a dragon. In this dynasty, only the emperor was allowed to use the dragon as his symbol. The emperor himself was called a real dragon and the son of heaven. If one of the princes was raising a fish that had the sign of transforming into a dragon, the emperor would definitely fear the consequences. When that time came, not only would Jingwang find it hard to defend himself, no eggs can remain when the nest is upset. After all, the fish would also suffer. Fortunately, Jingwang already received the news ahead of time. He definitely wouldn't allow this to happen. The third prince feared that the emperor would doubt the words of the astronomy department, and so, he also asked people to go invite over senior Buddhist monks. Facing this double offensive, Jingwang didn't back off. Raising his brush and writing a letter, he ordered Wang Shi to help him send it out at top speed. It wouldn't be very long before another crisis arrived. However, no matter what, he would protect Xiao Yu well. Jingwang finished dealing with serious business and returned to his room. What greeted him was a figure that he had been waiting for a long time. Xiao Yu transformed into a youth and wore a blue silk garment with gold branches embroidery. Humming some unknown melody, he was currently stooped over, tidying the bed. Jingwang stood from afar and watched for a while, wanting to get close but also afraid to disturb him. He stood there as Xiao Yu hummed and admired the other's beauty. Xiao Yu was still the same as when they first met, lively and energetic. Jingwang has seen plenty of men and women before who tied their belts tight and securely. Xiao Yu, however, didn't seem to know how to properly bind it and tied it up carelessly, making a hideous knot that fell at his waist side. A slight outline peeked from the youth's thin waist. With a light squeeze, the willow-like waist can bend. Jingwang felt it was too exaggerated but still inevitably thought of this phrase. Further down, there was a slightly bulge at the back of the lake blue-colored silk robes. Flustered, Jingwang hurriedly looked away. "Your Highness, you're back." Li Yu noticed the movement behind him, ran over with a smile and gave a bow. After returning from the imperial palace, he carefully examined how the servants of the estate greeted Jingwang and followed this example. He transformed into human this time since he agreed to stay at the Jing estate before and help Jingwang raise fish. He had to occasionally show his face before Jingwang and express that he was seriously doing his work, which was actually just feeding himself. Jingwang made him a huge fish tank. Li Yu was very touched about it. However, he couldn't say anything as a fish. Other than rubbing here and there was no way to express his gratitude. Although he could talk after changing into a human, Jingwang didn't know he was fish. If he rashly expressed thanks on behalf of fish, who knew what would happen? Jingwang might think he was a Yao. With no idea what to do after he fed himself, Li Yu can only actively help tidy up the room as a silent form of gratitude. However, the place that Jingwang stayed was always very clean. Li Yu looked through the entire room but didn't find anything dirty. In the end, he could only mess up the blankets on the bed and then tidy it up again. Who would have imagined that he just finished doing this one thing when he encountered Jingwang? Jingwang saw the human-formed Xiao Yu. The hostility inside his heart caused by the third prince immediately dissipated like mist. Stepping forth to grab Li Yu's hand, he dragged Li Yu and headed outside. There was something he wanted to do for a long time now. Li Yu, who was suddenly grabbed by Jingwang, was speechless. Li Yu silently reminded himself that as a fish, he could not resist his master. As a human, he also couldn't reject his Wang. Li Yu was dragged. Jingwang very quickly brought him next to a table, wanting him to sit down. Li Yu was somewhat scared. This situation. Was Jingwang about to ask him questions again? Fact was, he changed into a human because he wanted to inquire about the liquor inside Jing estate. The green plum wine was something that appeared serendipitously. If he wanted to set up a romantic scene, he needed to first figure out where the liquor was hidden. Then, he could find a way to secure a jar of it and mix it with some water. Then he can get Jingwang to drink it while he also drink a little himself. Wine that's mixed with water shouldn't make him embarrass himself so easily, right? Li Yu had a plan in mind. When facing the tyrant, it's best not to talk back. Just pretend he was still fish and do whatever Jingwang wanted him to do obediently. Jingwang spread open the paper and brush and took out the inkstick and inkstone, handing them over to Liu. Liu. Liu suddenly laughed, "Your Highness, do you want me to grind the ink?" Jingwang lightly nodded his head. Liu, so first he was being used to grind ink, then he'll have to answer questions, haha. Although Liu complained in his heart, his hands were very focused on grinding the ink stick. Very quickly a thick ink was prepared. Liu placed the ink stick down and carelessly rubbed his nose. A spot of ink was left on his nose, which he was completely unaware of. This made Jingwang remembered how Xiaoyu had ink on his fish body before. His lips curved uncontrollably. After grinding ink, Jingwang then gave Liu a brush. "Liu, so it wasn't to make me answer questions but rather, to make me write." Liu rolled up his sleeve and held the brush very boldly, a style that's not much different than holding chopsticks. "What does your Highness need me to write? Just let me know." It's best if he could ask for a reward after he finished writing. For example, a jar of wine or something. He was just frustrating how he have no reason to do so. The bold posture that Liu used to hold the brush shocked Jingwang. Jingwang thought to himself, no wonder the brush he used previously would lose hairs. However, Jingwang didn't disdain Xiaoyu for not knowing how to write properly. He got up and walked behind Xiaoyu. Liu didn't understand why and curiously looked at him. Jingwang did his best to control himself and not look at the fair slender wrist that was exposed out of Xiaoyu's sleeve. He raised his hand and covered over the hand on the brush, gently encircling Xiaoyu in his arms. Then, he shifted Xiaoyu slightly, moving and turning his awkward stance into the proper posture. Liu strangely felt a slight blush. It's not that he was illiterate. He was just not too used to using a traditional brush. Jingwang was likely teaching him how to hold a brush and how to write characters right now. However, this was too close. Jingwang's hand held his. Jingwang's arms also supported him. A warm breath was blowing right by the side of his ear. Behind him, surrounding him, up down left right, were all Jingwang. One of Liu's ears burned red. He thought awkwardly, this is learning, don't think too much. Jingwang's calligraphy is very good and he's willing to teach me. Don't squander the chance. Therefore, his hand was held by Jingwang just like this. The first word that Jingwang taught him to write properly was, fish. Looks like calligraphy wasn't that hard after all. After that, Liu became completely immersed in calligraphy. If he were in fish form, his tail would definitely be raised to the heavens. To the extent that it wasn't until after he changed back into a fish that he remembered, he forgot to ask for a reward. However, it had been Jingwang who was teaching him how to write. He should not be the one asking for a reward. Liu felt embarrassed. He seemed to have been countered by Jingwang. End chapter.